We have some major news in the movie world today because Warner Brothers is officially now being sold to Paramount instead of Netflix, and this might end up being the worst possible outcome. Let me explain. Now, you're probably wondering what on earth happened to Netflix. Weren't they the company buying Warner Brothers? Like, yeah, they literally signed the contracts, everything was agreed upon. They were going to buy Warner Brothers until a few hours ago when Warner Brothers came out and said that they are deeming Paramount's newest offer as superior and giving Netflix only 4 days to respond with a better offer. But Netflix is clearly not wanting to play these bidding games anymore because as soon as this happened, they said, no, we don't want your 4 days to come back with a better offer. We are backing out. We thought we had a great deal in place. We could have really helped Warner Brothers, but hey, you're taking the new deal. We're not going to fight it anymore. We're backing out. The valuation got way too high. We're not paying that price. Now, I'm hoping the GOAT 3C Films is right on his theory where he thinks Netflix is just calling their bluff and saying like, oh yeah, you really want to go and be owned by Paramount, a company that is literally billions of dollars in debt? Go ahead and do that and see what happens in a few years. But I don't think this is the case, sadly. And this is all because of the details of the contract. When Warner Brothers and Netflix signed their deal, at that point, if Warner Brothers backed out and went with a different company, they had to pay $2.8 billion to Netflix, which now they have to do since they're going with Paramount. And as you can see, Netflix stocks are literally already going up 10%. So Netflix is making a ton of money from even losing this deal. Now, I'm not going to lie, Netflix would have been bad in a lot of ways, and you never know if they were going to go back on their word of keeping movies in theaters and putting everything on streaming. But Paramount is also going to be terrible in a lot of other ways. So let me just get down to the facts of what is going to happen to our favorite franchises that are owned by Warner Brothers, like DC, Dune, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and more. Now, the main concern with Paramount is not that the films won't be released in movie theaters, but I'll get to that later because I don't think that's 100% secured as well. It's more so the actual content that's going to be made because in case you're unaware, Paramount is owned by David Ellison, obviously a part of the Ellison family. Larry Ellison's his father, very close to Trump. The concern here is that since they are so closely tied to the current administration, if someone like Trump comes out and says like, hey, I don't like the messaging happening in the DCU, for example, because obviously Superman is a very like liberal messaging movie, are they just going to come out and be like, oh my God, we're canceling it, we're getting rid of James Gunn? I don't think that's actually going to happen. Don't get me wrong, the Ellisons are terrible. All they care about is money. They're literally using like Saudi money to buy Warner Brothers because they're so much in debt they can't even afford it on their own. But we do have to remember there are things like South Park on Paramount right now being made by them that constantly make fun of both sides, especially Trump. But I think the real risk with mainly DC and a lot of these other franchises is not them being fully censored, but it's the people that are in charge of the creative side of things not having full control. A few months ago, when the first rumors of Paramount buying Warner Brothers came out, they were already talks of them being like, oh yeah, Paramount likes Zach Kreger's pitch for a new Joker movie that they're ready to greenlight right away and just going over whoever is in charge at DC, which is currently James Gunn and Peter Safran. And again, this means they now own all of DC Comics and they're going to own Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Dune, and a ton of other franchises and TV networks. So it doesn't mean all these things are going to be like immediately censored, but there might be a lot more things that either have specific messaging or just projects that they're like, hey, I want this made, we're going to make it. Like what happened with Rush Hour 4. Trump asked for that movie to get made and they're like, okay, sure, we'll make it for you, and greenlit it out of nowhere. But I also want to talk about the movie theater side of things because that was the biggest concern when it came to Netflix. People thinking that, oh, they're not going to actually put movies in theaters, but the CEO of Netflix did repeatedly say they were going to keep Warner Brothers operating as is and their movies would be in theaters for 45 days. Whether that would have been true or not, we really don't know, obviously now, since Paramount is buying them. But despite Paramount's claims they made months ago when this first bidding war broke out that they would put 30 new films in theaters every single year if they bought Warner Brothers, which seems like a ridiculously high number anyways, we've already seen them kind of going back on this. Like they just pulled their Legend of Aang Avatar movie that's coming out later this year out of theaters and are putting it on Paramount Plus directly. And they also do not have the best track record with things they put out in theaters. Again, I know if they own Warner Brothers, it will change. It will give them a lot more properties. But like as of right now, their slate for this year is Paw Patrol, Scary Movie 6, Jackass 5, Street Fighter, Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol, and an Angry Birds movie. Like I said, as of right now, it's important to remember nothing has officially been announced as like, oh, we're shutting down the DCU and getting rid of James Gunn, or we're getting rid of this, or we're canceling the new Harry Potter TV show. Nothing has been said officially yet. Are the risks higher because they're being owned by Paramount now for this stuff happening? Yes, it is. But do not buy into the doom and gloom just yet. But remember, none of this is good anyways. All these companies care about is their shareholders. This is what David Zaslav had to come out and say today. He's the CEO of Warner Brothers, and he came out and said, oh yeah, don't worry guys, this will create tremendous value for the shareholders. At the end of the day, this is all this is about for these people. They do not care about the art. Like I mentioned earlier, Netflix is still pulling in $2 billion new dollars because they lost a deal. At the end of the day, all these companies care about is making money. If you want to see a more lighthearted video, click my video above my head right now to see me roast your guys' favorite movies and different reviews that you made on Letterboxd.